correlating skincare in RC cars. Cheers. Just tips to be able to help it stick inside of your mind as a former instructor, relating something new to something that you already know. And ladies, you already know skincare. So let's combine our knowledge of skincare. And if you don't know all the skincare, this will give you some tips into some steps, but we'll get into the steps of our skincare and then how that correlates into building an RC car. Okay, so our first cleanse is going to be like our chassis kit. In a chassis kit, you're usually going to have a skid, you're going to have your sliders, you're going to have your main chassis, and then if they're super cool, you'll have some braces and places for magnets to be mounted to your body for easy swapping of the body. One of my favorite things, especially as a female, I like to swap my bodies pretty frequently. Who doesn't want to be able to swap their bodies to match their outfits? That's my next thing I'm working on, is making multiple bodies to be able to just click on and off with magnets and be able to accessorize my RC car to my outfit. It's a win-win. Next up is we have our second cleanse. Our second cleanse is going to be a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more mindful. Usually it's going to be a type of treatment cleanser, a gel cleanser. It might have a little bit of acid in it. But when we are doing our second part of building our C car, we are going to be talking about axles and links. So if you want to be running something more stock, right, here are some bottom, lower, rear, and front links already on a skid, just so I can show you one of the main pieces of our chassis, remember? So we have our links attached to our skid, but link sizes, if they're going to be straight like this is pretty stock. When they're in the RC car, they're going to bend like this. Or do you want to have something that's going to be a little bit more angled, an angled link? Okay, so we have our links that we have. If you're taking apart your RTR, you might see this in the front for your upper front links. Okay, and then you can also do that with your rear. You can do a type of high clearance bend in your links, and this is going to depend on the length that you are doing. If you're going to keep something a little bit more stock, if you have a stock wheelbase, if you're taking apart an RTR, then it's probably going to be a little bit shorter. If you have like a gladiator type wheelbase, which is a little bit longer in the rear, then you're going to have a longer type wheelbase. So from the front to the back. But once you start adding certain things like this, that can adjust your length sometimes. Unless you kind of do what Mr. Yep does and you bend these links, the stock links that it comes with. Next, we have our axles. We have front and we have rear axles. The front axles I have already have some stock servos attached to them. I really want to upgrade to some NSDRC servos, but you have front and you have rear axles. Your front is what's going to be for the turning, okay? And that goes into your servo. We'll get into our servo a little bit later. But this is your front. You're going to have these knuckles right here in the front. Your back ones are not going to have that. They're just going to be straight, because usually our turning does not happen in the rear. So we have axles and we have links for our second step. When you kind of have it hooked up, here's what it looks like with some shocks on it. We'll get into that next too. So for our third step, we would normally do a type of lymphatic drainage. It's always very beneficial during your facials to incorporate some type of lymphatic drainage, even if it's just a couple of minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. Our third step that we have is going to be our drive shafts. Okay, and look like this, and there's going to be two. You're going to need 2 drive shafts, one for the front and one for the rear. Sometimes they're cut to length and you need to cut them yourself, or you can buy them pre-made like these ones and they are the size that they are. So third step, drive shafts. Very important. The car's not gonna move without the drive shafts. Yeah. Fourth step of our skincare, we normally have exfoliation. You're using a scrub with beads, not St. Ives, for your face. A physical, like one of the facial scrubbers, shocks. Is going to be the fourth step in building our RC car. Shocks. You're going to need 2 for the rear, 2 for the front. And with the shocks, they come in different lengths, obviously. Then there's also different springs that you can get depending on how firm you want that compression to be or that unloading to be. And then some shocks you also want to fill up with a shock oil. And they're going to have different weight and viscosities, and that can matter. So shocks is going to be our fourth step, which would be exfoliation in our skincare. Okay, steps 6 and 7 kind of go hand in hand, so I'm gonna go with those together for a facial, and then also they go hand in hand literally when building an RC car. Your treatment serum and your mask, you're gonna layer that mask on top of your treatment serum, and it's gonna penetrate and go deeper. That's key, right? Step 5 and 6 is going to be our motor and our transmission. The motor is going to go into the transmission. The gears are going to be interlocking right there. And your motor, when it is on and you go ahead and push the trigger on your thing, it is going to cause your transmission to spin. Now, how this makes everything else spin is the drive shafts that we had talked about, right, before our shocks. The drive shafts actually fit into here, so they will spin inside of your axle in order to make your tires go. So it goes hand in hand, just like you want to put your treatment serum on and then layer a mask on to really get that product to work and hit deeper levels within the skin. We're gonna have our motor and our transmission go hand in hand. This is a stock motor with a stock transmission. You can always upgrade these. I recommend upgrading these. This is very, very loud. Very loud. Next, we're going to talk about step 7 and 8 in our skincare, which is going to be applying our finishing serum, and our eye cream is going to be our next steps. So how does that translate into an RC car? Some of the most important things that you have inside of your RC car. It's going to include your servo. Right here I just have a stock servo. I would highly recommend upgrading. I personally prefer the NSDRC servos. They've never let me down, ever, ever, ever. So we have our servo, and this is what's going to hook up inside on top of the axle right here in the front. And this is what makes it move. That stock servo sounds crunchy. Another reason to upgrade. These stock parts are very noisy. So if that bugs you, go ahead and upgrade. If it's not something that bugs you, go ahead and keep it stock. The servo is what's going to make this go, but it needs to be plugged in, right? So that leads us into our eye cream. That is going to be your ESC and your receiver. Usually when you buy stock, right, it's going to come with an ESC receiver combo. So I know that this is going to be a receiver. I know this right here is going to be a receiver, and this is what I'm going to plug everything into. This over here is going to be my ESC. It's what my battery is going to plug into right here, the battery. Now, if you want to upgrade this, which I usually do upgrade, I'm not even going to lie. Here's a homemade receiver right here. And then here's an upgraded. This is a Hyper ESC. Love them. When you do upgrade these, something else is going to change, and that's going to lead me into the battery. Well, usually when you upgrade your ESC to something like this, it's going to come with a different style battery plug. So Also understand that if that is something that you upgrade and you have not upgraded your batteries, you're gonna be shit out of luck until you upgrade your batteries. Number 9 in our skincare routine, and number 9 in building our RC car. Okay, this is going to be like the moisturizer in your skincare step, right? You lock in everything that you just did, moisturize the skin. You're gonna lock everything inside of your RC car with the body. Step 9, body moisturizer. So steps 10 and 11 in skincare and putting together an RC car. That is going to be our lip and our SPF. After I put on my moisturizer, I put on my lip gloss, and then I put on my SPF. That's what I do. And how that correlates into an RC car is going to be tires and wheels. Okay. I think my husband upgraded the wheels on this, but these are stock tires. Here are some upgraded tires. These are little guy racing parts with some pretty cool weighted in here. Your finishing steps in skincare, your lips and your SPF you always want to apply, and your wheels and your tires. You want to be fancy, you can upgrade. You can get different types of inserts other than just running the stock foam. My husband makes 3D printed inserts. That's what I have inside these bad boys. All kinds of upgrades. Those are our steps for skincare and the steps and things for building an RC car. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe.